Hello all. In this video lecture, I am going to explain about the one more converter called buck boost converter or buck boost chopper. Right. In the last few lecture videos, we have discussed about this different introduction to DC-DC converter, which is a chopper, and the definition of duty ratio. We have discussed about buck converter. Also, we have discussed about the boost converter. We have gone through the different control strategies. Now, as per your syllabus, we left with buck boost converter. So, in this lecture, uh, uh, I am going to explain about how the power circuit is derived, the analysis of the circuit. Then we are going to draw, we are going to see the waveforms, its steady state condition, and the relation between the duty ratio and the average output voltage. These things we are going to discuss, right? So let me directly go on to the buck boost converter, right? So if you see, uh, this is the buck converter. So from this buck converter, if you rotate the elements in anti-clockwise direction, you will get boost converter. Now you can see, in place of chopper, the inductor has to replace. So you can see here inductor. In place of diode, the chopper has been replaced. You can see the chopper here, right? And in place of inductor, it is replaced by diode. So you can see the diode here. Right. This is how the boost converter or boost chopper is formed. Now we are also going to form the equivalent circuit configuration for step-up chopper. Now you can see this is the equivalent circuit for buck boost chopper, and you can see there is slight difference between the buck chopper and buck boost chopper. Now here you can see the chopper which is connected in series to the battery. Now if you just interchange these two elements, inductor and diode. So instead of inductor, diode, instead of diode, you can find the inductor, which will form the buck boost chopper. So you have to think like that so that one more circuit can be formed, and you can generalize the circuit, and you can see the waveforms, you can derive the average equations and all those things, right? So now we'll focus on this the buck boost converter, right? The same circuit you can see here, okay, but the change is that here we will get the negative output voltage. We'll see how we are going to see the negative voltage. So this top polarity is negative with respect to the bottom polarity. So here the output voltage you will get it as negative, right? Now here you can see there are some applications where you need the regulated DC supplies, and wherever you want the negative polarity of output voltage, you may make use of this buck boost chopper, and you can get the output voltage higher than the input voltage and lower than the input voltage as well. So that is why it is called buck boost. There is a buck and boost as well in the chopper circuit. So this buck boost chopper is a combination of two converters. One is buck converter and one more is boost converter. So they are cascaded. They are connected like a cascaded fashion, right? And the output voltage is the product of these two converter. We know the output voltage for the buck converter is alpha times VDC, and in case of boost converter it is 1 minus alpha times VDC. So the output voltage in case of the buck boost converter is alpha into 1 over 1 minus alpha into VDC. So it is the product of two converters uh, uh, voltage conversion ratio, right? So now we'll see the equivalent circuit, and we are going to derive how we got the voltage across the load, right? So this is the voltage we are going to expect. Now These are the expected waveforms for a buck boost converter. Now we will see how we got these waveforms. So I have divided this into two modes. You can see here, mode 1 and mode 2. So mode 1 is during on time period, mode 2 is during off time period. So now see, mode 1 is from 0 to t on, when the time interval is lies between 0 to t on. So now as you know that internally the SCR is connected like this, with the gate anode terminal here and cathode terminal here, and here we will be having gate terminal. So with respect to input supply, the SCR it is in forward bias condition. That means chopper it is in forward bias condition. We can make the chopper on at any instant of time. So because anode is connected to positive here, cathode may be connected to negative through inductor or to load, right? So chopper it is in forward bias condition, we can make it on. So the on can be, you can turn on the chopper with the help of this gate terminal. So I have applied the gate terminal for this much duration, so that the chopper goes to on condition, it is replaced by short circuit. So you can see there is short circuit, right? At the moment you short circuit this one, you can see the positive polarity here and negative polarity here, and the diode is connected like this, right? So which will reverse bias this diode, because cathode is connected to positive here. So which will reverse bias this diode, and diode goes to off condition. So now this is the equivalent circuit. Now there is a path for the current which is flowing through the inductor. So which is called the charging current of inductor. So now you can find the supply is charging the inductor. So you can say it's charging from I1 to I2. These waveforms are steady state waveforms. Actually, it has to start from zero, charging, discharging like this, right? But these waveforms are steady state waveforms. So it is charging from I1 to I2. Diode is in off condition, so it is open circuited. You won't get any current to the diode, so diode current equals 0. Similarly, the chopper is having the inductor current, which is charging current of inductor. You can see it is rising from I1 to I2, right? So the output voltage equals 0 because there is no current, so you can get 0 voltage across the load, right? So now you can see the same thing you can see here, and the voltage across the inductor, we all know that L into di by dt, right? This is the voltage across inductor, right? So you can see even if you apply KVL in this loop, the load is coming, as the inductor is coming in parallel with the battery. If there is no drop across the thyristor, because we assume that the thyristor, chopper and the diode, they are ideal one. There is no drop across them, right? There is no drop across them. So VL equal to VDC. Now L into change in current is changing from I1 to I2. So I2 minus I1 in T on, that equal L into change in current upon T on. So dt change in time period is the dt in T on interval, right? So from this one, if you cross multiply this one, so this will goes to here, and T on will be L into dA by VDC. Right. Similarly, in mode 2, with the help by making use of the commutation circuit. So because I told you many times that the chopper is consist of the commutation circuit as well. So inside this bag, that is why it's replaced with a dotted box. Right. So with the help of that commutation circuit, the chopper is going to be off. Right. So if the chopper is going to be off, this is the equivalent circuit. Now, previously the inductor is charged with this polarity positive, the top one is positive and bottom is negative. Now the inductor has to discharge. So before discharging the energy, it has to replace this polarity. Negative is replaced by positive, and positive is replaced by negative. Here you can see, right? And now is negative is connected to the cathode of this diode. Positive may be connected to anode, to the load. So the diode is in forward bias condition, it will conduct and is replaced by short circuit. You can see there is short circuit in the diode. Now the current always leaves from higher potential to lower potential. Now the source for this loop is inductor, energy stored in the inductor. So it is leaving from L positive to battery and back to the L negative to the diode. So this is the direction of current. So because of this current, you will get some voltage, this much voltage. So this is during T of time period. Okay. Now you can see the inductor is discharging. So you can see the current flowing through the inductor is discharging. Current is discharging from I2 to I1. And the same current is flowing through the diode as well. So suddenly it goes to peak value, then it will discharge the current because disconnected in series with the inductor. So chopper it is in off condition, you won't get any current to the chopper. So chopper current equals 0. So this is about the mode 2 and mode 1. Right. So if you see the voltage across inductor, we all know that it is L dI by dt. Now you can see this inductor is in parallel with the load with this polarity. Bottom one is positive. Right. So V naught equal VL equal to minus L, change in current I2 to I2 minus I1 divided by T of time period. So from this equation I can write the T of equal to minus L, change in current upon V naught. So these are two equations for T on and T off. So the same equation you can see here. Okay, from this expression you can write the change in current. From this one it is T on into VDC by L. Here it is minus T off into VDC V naught by L. Right, and you can equate these two equations because both equations for change in current. So it will be T on into VDC by L, that equal to minus T off into V naught by L. L in the denominator will get cancelled. So it is T on into VDC, that equal to minus T off into V naught. So if you rearrange, it will be T naught minus T on by T off into VDC, that equal to V naught. And we all know that T equal to T on plus T off. So instead of T off, I can write T minus T on. Okay. Now, if I divide the numerator and denominator with T, right? So T on by T, it is delta. T by T, it is 1, you can see here. Minus T on by T, again, it is delta. So you can see the average output voltage across the load, which is equal to minus delta into VDC upon 1 minus delta, where delta is the duty ratio, which is the ratio of on time period to the off time period. Right? And you can see the ripples in the inductor. Okay. So again, we know that T equal to T on plus T off. So we know the expression for T on, we know the expression for T off, we just substitute here. It will be L into dI by VDC minus L into dI by VDC. You can take a change in current into L as common. Okay. And it will be something like this. Okay. And if you want to write this equation, change in current in terms of the VDC and delta, it will be delta into VDC divided by L into F. So as I told you that the inductor is used to get ripple free current, right? So if you want to get less ripple, just we need to increase the inductor or increase the switching period, chopping frequency, right? So this is how you can get a constant current or ripple free current. Okay, now we'll derive the formula for ripple in voltage. Right, during on time period, if you see the equivalent circuit, the output current is same as the charging current of the capacitor, and you can write the ripple in current voltage will be 1 by C into integration from 0 to T on IC into dt, where IC equal to I naught, you just substitute those things and integrate the things. So you can see change in the capacitor voltage will be I naught into T on by C, right? And where T on we are going to derive for this T1, T on. We know that from the previous expressions is the output voltage, which is equal to minus delta by 1 minus delta into VDC. So from this expression, if you rearrange, you will get the expression for T on. So which is V naught by F into V naught minus VDC, right? You just substitute this expression in this expression, right? Then you will get the ripple in the capacitor voltage will be delta into I naught by F into C. And again, if you recall, the capacitor which is connected across the load is to get ripple free DC voltage, right? Ripple free DC voltage. So by increasing the capacitor value, you can get almost the constant DC, which is the ripple free DC voltage you can get, right? You will get almost zero ripple, right? So now this is about the method one. You can also derive same expression using method 2. So this is the equivalent circuit during mode 1, as already we have discussed. So if you apply KVL, you will get the voltage across inductor is this much. This is during T on time period. Similarly, in mode 2, this is the equivalent circuit as we had already discussed, and apply KVL in this loop, you will get the voltage across the inductor is V0, and this is during T off period. And we know the volt second balance principle. So if you want to see the voltage across inductor, it will be like this. During on time period, you will get positive voltage. During off time period, you will get negative voltage. Right? So the area under during positive half cycle should be equal to area under during negative half cycle in steady state condition. So you can apply, so area means this time into the voltage across it, which is this time is on time period, into the voltage across this V0 is VL is VDC. Again, if you want to see the area under this portion, this time period is TF, and this width is height is VL equal to V0. So you can make both equal, right? So now you just apply the volt second balance principle. So in steady state condition, you can rewrite like this: average voltage across inductor should be equal to 0. So voltage across inductor during on time period is VDC. Voltage across inductor during off time period is V0. So you make it 0, and instead of T, you just write we know that T equal T1 plus T of, right? So instead of T of, I can write T minus T1, right? So it is T1 into VDC plus T minus T1 into V0. So you just rearrange this equation. So we'll get V0 equal to minus T1 by T minus T1 into VDC. Again, you divide the numerator and denominator with the T, right? T1 by T is the alpha. T will get cancelled. It is minus T1 by T means again it is alpha. So again you will get the same expression, which is minus delta into VDC by 1 minus delta. Well, delta is the duty cycle, and which is defined as the ratio of on time period to the off time period, right? So we can see three cases here. So first case, when the delta equal to 0.5, if you substitute delta equal to 0.5 here, so it will be minus 0.5 divided by 1 minus 0.5, it is again 0.5. So 0.5 in the numerator, 0.5 in the denominator will get cancelled. So we'll get minus V0. So V0 equal to minus VDC will get it, delta equal to 0.5. That means there is no buck in the voltage, there is no boost in the voltage, right? So the output voltage same as the input voltage, but with negative polarity will get. And when delta is more than 0.5, let us see. If I substitute more than 0.5, if I substitute, let us say 0.6. So here it is 0.6, which is minus 0.6 divided by 1 minus 0.6. I can write directly 0.4. So the ratio of 0.6 upon 0.4 will give the value which is more than 1. So that means the output voltage will get it as more than minus VDC. There is a boost in the voltage. Now when delta is less than 0.5, so let us substitute delta equal to 0.4 here. So if I substitute delta equal to 0.4 here, it is minus 0.4 divided by 1 minus 0.4, it is 0.6. So the ratio of 0.4 upon 0.6 will give the value which is less than 1. So you'll get the output voltage less than input voltage with with negative polarity. So three cases you can find in case of buck boost converter, right? So this is about the buck boost converter operation, principle, and their waveform and their derivations. Right now we'll solve one problem on it. So consider the buck boost converter. The input voltage to this converter is 14 volts. The duty cycle he has given 0.6. Switching frequency, the chopping frequency is 25 kilohertz. L value is 180 microhenry. Filter capacitance 220 microfarad. He asked average load current I0 is 1.5 amps. He has to calculate the average output voltage. We know the expression for average output voltage in terms of delta and VDC. Delta already he has given 0.6, VDC has given 14 volts. You can calculate the average output voltage. And peak to peak output current voltage ripple, you can calculate. It is delta into I0 divided by F into C. Right? Similarly, peak to peak current of the inductor, it is also you can calculate. We have derived all those things in the last slide. These are the given values. So the average output voltage expression is this much. So it is minus delta by 1 minus delta. Delta equal to 0.6. VDC is 14 volts. So by seeing this delta value, directly you can say there is a boost in the voltage because it is more than 0.5. So you'll get for a 14 volts, you will get minus 21 volts as the output voltage. Similarly, you can calculate the peak-to-peak output voltage ripple. So this is the expression. It is change in voltage ripple equal delta into I naught by F into C. We know everything. Delta is 0.5, I naught is 1.5, F is 25 kilohertz, C is he has given to 20 microfarad. So just substitute those values, will get the ripple in the voltage, which is 0.16 volts. Similarly, you can calculate the current ripple in the inductor. So which is delta into VDC. Delta is 0.5, VDC is 14 volts. L we know it is 180 millihenry. F also is 25 kilohertz. You just substitute those values, will get the ripple in current as 1.87 amps. Right? So these are all about the buck boost converter. Right? Thank you one and all.